is going on? Happy Monday, Academy members. So excited to be hanging out with you this evening. Today we have a special training for you guys, and today is basically going to be all about how to use the monthly leaders pack. So if you don't know what the leaders pack is, I'm going to break this down here for you. I'm going to share my screen. I'm going to show you exactly what it is and how you can use it. And if you're a leader in your company, even if you just have one or two people below you, you're still considered a leader. Don't worry. You don't have to have 50, 60, 70 people under you or more than that to be considered a leader. But if you are a leader, if you're an aspiring leader, you're going to want to take a look at this training. If you guys are watching live, hashtag live in the comments. If you end up watching on the replay, hashtag replay. If you guys end up watching on the replay, make sure to participate on the replay as well. I'm not going to be on for too long. I'm really just going to demonstrate what this leaders pack is and just give you a little information on it, as well as how you can support your team as you are doing this every single month. So first, a little bit of background on this. If you don't know what it is, the Leaders Pack, we've been doing it since February of this year. And looking at my calendar of all the trainings that we've done over the past year, I realized that we haven't done a training on this, really. We just kind of created it just so that we had some sort of content, some sort of product, some sort of resource for leaders to use for their teams, to motivate their teams, to get their teams excited about something, to get their teams training and working on self-development on a daily basis. We thought we would create this incredible resource so it's a little bit less work on the leader. Now, at the same time, I also want to say, in addition to that, just because we create this this resource for you does not mean that you could just, lay back and just not be a leader anymore, right? Of course, the training content is really good and it can be helpful. And of course, it's a great way to motivate your team, get your team excited about something, and help them learn something new. But if you as a leader can reinforce the content, right? You as a leader can go live maybe once a week on your Team Tuesday calls or on your Zoom calls or whatever it is that you do with your team that's consistent. If you can reinforce the content, right? Maybe ask questions, get some engagement out of your team, and really play into whatever theme is for that month. For example, this month of October, the theme is stories. So we're teaching your team how to use stories. Very, very basic. I'm sure some people on your team already know how to use stories, but there's always going to be that one person that joins your team. Or there's always going to be that one person, or maybe even more, that's going to learn or get something from it, right? And sometimes it's always good to revisit topics, even if we already kind of feel like we know it inside and out. It's good to revisit some of those topics because it's great reminders, and there's also some great tips and advice in the training. So it's just great self-development. But in order for this leaders pack to go really well for your team, just an extra tip for you guys before we actually go in and share our screen here. Make sure you're reinforcing the content. So if you do a weekly call or a monthly call or a bi-weekly call, let me know in the comments, by the way. If you have a team, let me know if you have a team. If you're wanting to build a team, also let me know in the comments if you're wanting to build a team. And if you do any calls or any weekly trainings, do you go live? Do you just mostly check in on Messenger? How do you communicate with your team? Because if you can get your engagement going with your team, especially in Messenger, right? If you have a decent culture in your team, more than likely they're going to want to participate when it comes to this this resource that we're providing for them. So it's very important to make sure that you're kind of staying in tune with them, right? Asking them questions in Messenger, asking them, even as simple as what did you guys think of the post today, right? Who uses stories for business? Keeping those simple questions going. That way you're kind of getting them excited about it. You're getting them talking about it, and then making them want to, kind of pay attention to those posts if you have kind of a lower engaged team, which that's okay if you do, right? I've been through it in the past as well. My team's pretty engaged. I'm blessed for that. But of course, that takes work, that takes time, that takes effort. And a lot of times it's recruiting the right people too, right? So let's go ahead and get started here. I'm going to share my screen. Where to find this information. So you want to go into the Academy website. If you're new here, simplysustainableacademy.com is your membership website. You just want to click right here, which is the actual Academy. And then you want to go down to Module 4. So Module 4 is where you're going to see all of your monthly content. It's organized by the month and the year. The only thing that's not going to be categorized in here are things like self-development tools, printables. There's some self-help guides in this Academy as well, and it's under printables and guides. So you're going to have a whole section of that. All right, so let's get into the Leaders Pack though. We're going to go into October. We have made these Leaders Packs since February, so we have quite a few on the books. Some of them are a little shorter, some of them are a full month. This one's 25 days. So we're just going to click right here, and what's going to happen is it's going to download on our computer, and we're just going to open this bad boy right up. And we're going to break this down a little bit for you. It's not going to be a super long training tonight, but I do want to at least show you what it looks like, how to use it, and especially if you are a person who wants to be a leader or maybe you're already a leader, maybe you're just not getting a lot out of your team. This is a great resource to provide for them to really just kind of get them excited about something. And it's a great way for you to really just show up for them. And sometimes that's all it really takes, is just having that effort of showing up for your team and giving them something to kind of look forward to so that they can work on their self-development as well. So there's a few things in here. Let's go ahead and open up the Word doc, since this is going to have all the posts in it. If you're a SendShare user, I believe there's a SendShare link in here as well at the very top. So if you are a SendShare user, you just want to copy that link and save that folder into your SendShare library. And then you can schedule it out. And now I know it's already the 10th of October. It's okay if you haven't had a chance to take a look at this, or if maybe this is the first time you're hearing about it, or maybe you're thinking, man, I really should have taken a look at this at the very beginning of the month and scheduled out that whole piece of content. It's totally okay. You can definitely go through this content and decide what you want to share, because there's nothing really that's like this, it has to be in this order of posts. You really can be sporadic with this script, because it's not, like I said, something that is like from beginning to end, except for the first post. Really, the first post is, hello team, welcome October. This month we're going to be diving into stories. So there's a little bit of a sequence in the beginning, just kind of introducing stories and what stories are. But you can very easily start sharing these posts tomorrow or even the next day, whenever you want to. And you don't have to share everything in this Leaders Pack. You can use it however you like to, especially if you have a team that has used stories and maybe they already know how to use it. Maybe you can take out some of these tutorials, because some of these concepts in the stories Leaders Pack are very remedial. Like they're very, very, very beginner. So you may not need that. And if you do need it, and maybe you just want to use the story content or the training posts in here that are very step-by-step, then just use it. You can use it at your leisure, however you please. So let me know, guys, in the comments, if you've had a chance to take a look at the Leaders Pack. Have you ever used Leaders Pack in the past? And if you have, let me know which one you have used. Okay, and let me know, guys, participate in the comments for me, and let me know if you've ever used these Leaders Packs in the past. Okay, so here's the concept, right? Like, as I mentioned, with these Leaders Packs, the whole point is to have a resource for your team. So, if you're busy, right? It happens. Sometimes we can't show up as often as we want to for our team, especially for some of us that do have a larger team. I don't have an enormous team, but I do have a very decent sized team where it would just be impossible for me to just keep up with every single person at all times. So I do my best. And this is just a tip for you guys, right? I try to schedule out whatever content, trainings, posts. If I do a leaders pack that month and I specifically work on one topic, I try to schedule that out a month in advance or a few days before the month begins. And then I hold weekly Team Tuesday meetings. So it's either an 8 p.m. Zoom call where my team will come at their leisure and we'll hang out, we'll talk. We'll talk about struggles. We'll talk about goals. We'll talk about whatever it is they want to talk about. Generally, I have something on the agenda, like a short 10 to 15-minute training on a specific topic. Unless there's something that comes up on the call, then we'll cover that. Or if there's something going on with the company that's like right around the corner, right, that they should know about, then I'll share that information too. Or I will do a midday training. And the training is really whatever my team votes on. So typically I'll drop some ideas in the chat. Hey guys, what do you want your Team Tuesday training to be about? What is it that we need to work on? And sometimes it's conversations or how to overcome objections or how to create really cool story content or maybe some ideas about how to create reels or time management, whatever the topic is. I like to show up every Tuesday for my team so that they can at least see my face, right? They see me there. I'm present. I'm available. And of course, I'm available the rest of the week, Monday through Friday, and sometimes on the weekends through Messenger whenever they need something, or if they're stuck with a customer on something, or if there's some kind of issue going on. But Tuesdays is the day where they get my attention, right? They have a specific period of time where I am there, I am present, I am live, or they could talk directly, Zoom call. Of course, like I said, I'm available the rest of the week as well. But Tuesdays is like my day. Like that's the training day. Tuesdays, you're going to get the goods from Janet, right? So let me know if that's something that you do as well. But just a suggestion, it might be good to do that every week, especially when you're doing these kind of trainings with your team, because every Tuesday, just an example, if you can't do Tuesdays, okay. But if you do a weekly call, you can always hop on and you guys can discuss what you've learned in the last week, right? What questions do you have about what you learned last week? What do you think was the most interesting thing that you've learned? What was an aha moment? What was a takeaway? And really just have them break that down. So here's what's really cool about this month's, right? Comment below if you use Stories for Business. Do you use Stories for Business? If not, that's okay. But let me just tell you guys, right? There is a very large portion of the direct sales industry that is just really behind when it comes to marketing. And I mean like way behind on marketing. There's a few companies I can think of at the top of my head that are just, they are very old school in the way that they do things in their business. They do not speak it. They do not show up on their wall. They do not show up on their stories, reels, which is okay, right? It's okay. However, the way that social media is advancing and changing, a lot of these companies are not teaching people that this is kind of the way to go. And if you don't hop on the train, then it's going to be harder for you to gain that customer base, right? Especially with the new way of marketing, which is video, right? Video is like completely dominated all other forms of online marketing. Video is just really up there. So this is just a great training for your team to at least start dipping their toe into ideas of stories. So what's really cool and what I really like about this training is you've got some short, pretty much very short training posts that break down what are stories. You have one that's like how to post a story. So here's an example of like a step-by-step, right? And you have the play-by-play in here, right? Of how to do it. Every single post ends with an engagement question, an open-ended question, or some sort of invitation for comments and engagement in the comments so that people can, your team can start kind of thinking through and brainstorming on some things, which is really good, right? This is the self-development that your team needs on a monthly consistent basis to help them gain that confidence into doing something new, right? So this is just something that you can always have in the background. The next one is if you did post your story, how many viewers did you get, just to kind of get that conversation going. I know when I started training my team that came from other companies that weren't necessarily using these tools or these features on social media, a lot of people had that aha moment like, oh my gosh, people are actually watching my stuff. And that's what's really cool about these leaders packs too, right? Is that you can use leaders packs. It really makes your team and challenges them in a sense to do something different, maybe exit their comfort zone, maybe try something new. And a lot of times when they do that and they dip their toe in the water just a little bit and they start to see some sort of result, whether it's viewers or people hearting or people sending them messages on stories, and they gain that confidence and it makes them want to do it even more, right? Which is great. That's what we want our team to do. We want our team to get in the habit of doing, right? How many people, and let me know if you're watching, how many people have people on their team that aren't necessarily doing much, right? I have people on my team that don't do much, right? I also have rock stars on my team, but that happens over time, right? And it's totally normal, but it's great to have something like this to get them motivated to do something, right? The next one is the why behind posting in stories. So there's some good education in here. Stories for business, product edition. How do you, in a non-spammy way, right? Because it's typically a lot of online sellers reason for not showing up outside of their groups and business pages, because that's how a lot of us are trained in that narrow focused mindset to just do this one thing, right? A lot of us don't show up outside of it because A, we're not being taught that, and then B, we think just because we share a product on our feed or on our stories or on a reel, we're being spammy, when in actuality we're not. There's a right way and a wrong way of doing it, right? So this training post here teaches people exactly how to do it. It's called curiosity marketing, right? And we teach people how to do that. How to use stories for business, opportunity edition, right? Opportunity edition, where you get to share about what you do for a living, right? And or what you do as a side gig, right? Comment below if you do this as a full-time income, or if this is a side gig for you. And how to really kind of use that language in your stories to get viewers, and of course to start those conversations. You can gain so many leads just from curiosity marketing in your stories. And it doesn't have to be every single day, right? The biggest mistake that people do in their stories is when you're constantly showing your product every day, right? When you're constantly talking about your business, when you have nothing else to talk about but those things, right? So there's also some information in here on what to do, how to show up in your stories so that you're not spammy, right? What is a story sequence, right? You've got a ton of awesome things. How to use story stickers and and texts. Using stories for both Instagram and Facebook. How to connect your Instagram and your Facebook. You've got tips in here. How to set up your highlights on your Instagram if you're using Instagram. How to post a boomerang, how often you should post in your stories, and then you actually have a story posting formula. So you've got awesome posts in here of the training, the what, the why, and the how. And then you also have a 7-day challenge at the end of it. So even if your people are maybe participating and maybe they're kind of checking out, okay, like we know what it is, we know how it works, there's some ideas there, awesome. And maybe they haven't quite started yet. At the end of the month, they've got a really cool 7-day challenge, basically telling them exactly like what to post, which is really neat, right? You've got what's Sunday engagement story, Monday engagement story, it's tip Tuesday, what is it Wednesday, share something relatable Thursday, fun Friday, and then Saturday, small business day. And then you've got a challenge to engage with your viewers here at the end. And then the very last post for the leaders pack, it basically it gives you an opportunity to really chat with your team and share what their results were. Now, are the results going to be sales and recruits? Probably not. I'm just going to be honest with you. Probably not. Is it possible that they could get a sign up? It's very possible, especially if they've never used stories for business before. Is it possible that they can start maybe generating some leads and having some conversations with people that maybe they would have never had these conversations prior had they not posted in their stories? Yes, these are all wins. Okay. So as you're conversating with your team on this and they're commenting on these things and you're sharing results, right? We're not looking for sales and recruits. We're not looking for that rank advance at the very end, even though that would be great. And if they get it, fantastic, celebrate it. We're looking for the effort, right? And a lot of times in these things, when you're doing something new and you're sharing this kind of stuff, it's you're looking for that effort. And if they put that effort and they put that foot forward and they start to see something in return, it's that level of encouragement, right? And they feel motivated. So all of a sudden they see, okay, people are actually looking at my stuff. I didn't think anybody would look at my stuff. And trust me, I've done this like so many times with my team. When they when they join, they're like, what? I gotta post on my stories. And then they do it and they're like, Janet, 50 people watched my stories today and I had 3 conversations. Those are the things that you celebrate. And guess what you do? That's amazing, right? You just celebrate the crap out of it because it is cool, right? It's a win for them. So anyways, that's basically the run through of their stories pack, guys. And if you don't use SendShare, that's totally okay. What you could do, you could always copy the caption and paste it into your Facebook, and as just part of like your morning routine, if you're posting in your wall, or if you're typically scheduling something in your VIP group, or if you're checking on your hostess, whatever your morning thing is, then go ahead and just, add this as a part of that. Add that post, add that graphic in there. And again, I know tomorrow's the 11th, right? We're already kind of midway through the month, but you can always start this at any time. You can always just kind of look through the script and decide which posts do you think are going to be relevant for your team, right? You know your team, you know your people. Which posts do you think they are they going to get the most value from, right? Like maybe you don't have to give them the definition of what stories are. Maybe you can set up a challenge post, put a picture of yourself, right? And then have a few posts where it's like, how do you post a story? Go ahead and post your first story and see how many viewers you get. Here's the why behind it. Now let's do some practicing. You can always pick and choose whichever post you want. And here's a fun fact, right? We did a training on this not too long ago. People on social media are 15 times more likely to check out your stories versus your posts on your feed. Okay. So your stories are the things that sit on the top, right? Of course, that makes sense that it's 15 times more likely because it's the very first thing that you see when you log onto your Facebook. And it's the very same thing. Let me close this out really quick. It's the same thing on Instagram. Well, it's actually a little different on Instagram. The first thing you see on Instagram really is the reels, or it's actually your feed. But on Facebook specifically, that's the first thing you see those boxes at the very top of the stories, right? So it's a great opportunity for your team to really start learning how this process actually works. So let me go ahead and share that's a really good point there leading into Black Friday. It's a really, really good point. So good job, whoever that was. That was a good comment. So let me go ahead and go back to sharing my screen really quickly. What I'm going to do lastly is I'm just going to show you how to pull, whoever's a SendShare user, how to pull the SendShare link, and how to make a copy of it and then schedule it out into your team group. So I'm going to show you that really quickly for those of you that are new to SendShare, or maybe you just want to see how this works. The link here is at the very, very top. You just want to copy this, okay? And then we'll paste it into a browser. And just so that you also have a Canva link for your banners, and you have a Canva link for your graphics. So if there's things in there you want to change out, you have full free reign to do so. Because I know there's pictures of me in there, and I don't know if you want to see pictures of me. Maybe, you just want to, Janet doesn't need to be on everything. Let's remove Janet. I'm their leader. Let me put my picture. Regardless of whatever you want to do, you have full access to make those edits on there. All right, so I just copied the SendShare link here into SendShare. Now I can just view it, and here it is. I have full access into all of the posts for the leaders pack, okay? And really, if you want to batch schedule, I know we're already again on the 10th, but if you want to schedule out maybe the first post, and maybe you want to start doing this and giving them that 7-day challenge towards the end of October, you totally can. I would take the very first post here, right? If you don't have to edit anything, and I would just change up some of the words. I wouldn't say like, hello, October. Obviously, we're in mid-October, but I would say, hey, friends, It is mid-month. Just wanted to pop in today and let you guys know for the rest of the month, we're going to be doing this awesome training on stories. Comment below if you've ever used Facebook stories before, right? That's one way that you can take this very first post and schedule it out tomorrow or even the next day, whenever you want to use it, and you can start at mid-month. And then you can pick and choose whichever post you want to follow for the rest of the month, okay? So in order to batch schedule, of course, you just want to select these posts here, decide which post it is that you want to select, and then you select this little blue box here with the 3 lines. You hit batch post, and then from here, this is what I love about SendShare, guys. This is like my favorite thing in the world. You want to select your group. Saves me so much freaking time. It's ridiculous. Okay. So I'm going to do like, just this group here, and I'm going to select the date. So let's say I want it to start on Tip Tuesday, right? So I'm going to go through and I'm going to start it on, let's say 8:30 in the morning. And I'm going to have it post every 24 hours, right? Once you select your post, you have it post every 24 hours. That way it's one post a day. Apply interval. It's going to tell you what times it's going to post, and then you just schedule it out, guys. It is just that simple. And then all of a sudden, you've got this incredible resource for your team. Okay. I just want to also add on, just make sure you make yourself available, because then people are going to ask questions. When people start commenting on your post, just reply to them, engage with them, and then take the challenge with them, right? Lead by example. This is a great way for you to show up for your team in this way, because they can see you doing the thing with them, right? Failing forward with them. We've all like failed forward, right? Especially when we started something new. All right, so let me get back to the page here. Guys, what did you guys think about the Leaders Pack? Do you think it's something that maybe you want to use for your team? Have you ever used a Leaders Pack in the past? Let me know in the comments. And just to let you know, okay, if you haven't seen these, let me share my screen one more time, okay? When you go into the Academy, I do want to share this part. That's the October one. But if you go into Module 4, okay, there is September, August, July, June, May, all the way up to February. So let's say, okay, maybe you don't want to cover stories, right? Like maybe you just don't want to cover stories. Maybe you want to have a different topic, right? To start maybe the beginning of November. You can always go into September, okay, which is the month prior, and you can always do the social media consistency challenge. That was last month's leader pack, okay? And here's what's cool about this one, okay? And I won't go too deep into this one, but this is basically a social media consistency challenge, okay? This is helping your team show up consistently for their business on their feed. So that's really, really cool, because for those people that maybe have an issue with being consistent and showing up for themselves and showing up for their business, but they want to see those massive results, here's a really awesome accountability post that they can check themselves into on a daily basis, right? So let's take a look at this really quickly. So you've got who could use some help getting consistent on social media, right? You can, of course, change up some of the wording here. Obviously, it says hello September, but you can change that up. And then every day, you've got daily tasks. Daily task number 1, create an engagement post on your feed. Add a colored background so it pops. Reply to all comments. Come back and let us know how many comments it got, right? So, and it teaches them, right? It teaches them everything step by step. Make a motivational post today. Make a post about someone who inspires you. Post a value post today, right? You get another one here. Post something that you're grateful for today. And then you've got make another value post. This time, share something that you do daily that enhances your life in some way. This is how you do attraction marketing on your wall, right? If for those of you that don't know how to show up outside of groups, outside of your business page, because you don't want to be spammy, you don't want to be that person, right? Blasting their products and their business all over the place, right? You want to do it in an organic way, in an authentic way, in a way that's attracting people to your content. Take a look at this challenge and take it with your team. It's got the only thing that really says September is the caption on the very first post. So it's not really assigned to any month, right? So you could always use it in November, right? If you want people to start getting consistent for Christmas right around the corner, or even, January, it could be a good January and February challenge, finding these kind of things for them to work on as they go through the quote unquote slower months, right? So that's, just a couple different ways that you can use this resource for your business. Okay. Well, guys, that is, I think, all I have for you guys today. I hope you guys learned something tonight, and I hope y'all are excited to check out the Leaders Pack. So, guys, I will get off now. Happy Monday, and I will see you guys on the next Monday, very special training. So, I will see you guys later. Bye, friends.